Welcome back, everybody, to the X Factor podcast. We not stars. We're not superstars. We're changing the game. Troy and Fred Sports Talk. We X Factors. Troy, how we feeling today?
Doing pretty good today, man. Outside of watching Kentucky basketball, it's been a really good Saturday. I'm excited to get going. Hey, you like that new background edition right there?
Hey,
That thing's tough.
Back to back, you dig?
Hey, back to back. We're going for it. I like the new background you got going on. Where are you at today?
I'm at the parents' house for the holidays. You know what I'm saying? Had to come through.
Happy holidays to all.
Absolutely. Happy holidays to the audience.
Yes, sir. So we're going to get right into it, man. I texted Fred earlier in the week, and we went ahead and we put in our predictions for the Saturday games. So spoiler alert, the Buccaneers are up big right now on the Lions, but we already made our predictions. So don't look too much into that. But let's look into last week's records. Fred last week went 12-4, a really good week for Fred, making his overall record 32-15. I went 14-2 last week with an overall record of 36-11. The only two I got wrong, Fred, were the Bengal game and the Jet game. And
yeah, I mean,
who'd have thunk that?
Nobody would have thunk that. I'll tell you that.
So go Bengals, baby. I'm not going to rip any Band-Aids here today, but my Who Dey Nation looking good in a game that didn't matter to us. But anyway, let's hop right in. So again, me and Fred, we already made our Saturday predictions. And again, just to touch base, we did also added to last week's record. We did the Christmas Day in last week's episode. So just so everybody knows, we both picked the Saints, and we were correct. Alvin Kamara looking like top three back, top two in the game. He's incredible when he's used properly. It's insane. All right, but anyway, the Saturday, this game is currently going on. It looks like the Buccaneers have easily won, looking to be in their playoff drought streak of 13 years. They will be in the playoffs this year.
They clinched
the Buccaneers. Yep, they're ending their drought, man. Big time for the franchise. Happy for the fans of the Buccaneers who stayed loyal.
Detroit is a franchise that is in shambles right now. So
looking for a coach. I mean, Stafford's only getting older. They don't really have a young wide receiver. Kenny Golladay keeps getting hurt. I love Kenny Golladay.
He's gone. He's going somewhere else.
He's so talented. And DeAndre Swift is a bit of a bright spot right now. Yep. But again, you have to have other pieces around. The running back's not going to carry you anywhere. So again, me and Fred, we did pick the Buccaneers, and it's looking like we're going to be right there. So the second game of Saturday, we got the 49ers going, and they're not really traveling because they play in Arizona now. They will be playing against the Arizona Cardinals. Fred, who are you taking in this one?
Arizona. San Francisco's defense is giving up 30 points, I think, the last three games or something like that, and I think that continues this game. Kyler Murray's too good. And yeah,
I think they're starting C.J. Beathard, too.
The Iowa legend, all right.
Yeah, C.J. Beathard.
Get that Iowa connection.
Kittle's back. Deebo Samuel's out. Brandon Ayuk, of course. Raheem Mostert put on IR earlier in the week, out for the year. So a lot of injuries going on. I'm also taking the Cardinals. As I said, I'm a big Kyler Murray fan. I love that kid. Unbelievable to watch. And then the night game for today is a pretty weird game, in my opinion. You got the Dolphins on the road going to Las Vegas to play up against the Raiders. Fred, who are you taking in this one?
I had the Raiders, I think, when you texted me, but I'm going to switch that. I'm going to go with the Miami Dolphins. I like Tua. He's getting weapons back. Devontae Parker, I think, is playing this week. Gesicki's questionable, but I think he's going to play. I got the best slot receiver in football on the team, so we'll
Lynn Bowden, Lynn man.
Bowden Jr. finally getting used the right way. I'm excited to see him continue to grow in that organization. I think Tua takes care of the football. I think Vegas they have some weapons pieces, but they're not there yet. And they've kind of choked these last couple weeks with their playoff hopes away.
And has there anything been announced about if it's Mariota or if it's Carr tonight? I haven't seen anything.
I think Carr's playing. I think Carr's playing.
Is okay.
Mariota's that makes it a little bit, though, man. If I'm a team and he's a quarterback, I mean, I'm calling Vegas.
Yeah, we kind of touched on that last week, where like if you're a team that's kind of not bad, you're in a position where you're kind of like a quarterback away. I mean, low key, like kind of where the division is, the Washington football team is an interesting team to throw out there that I haven't really thought of. They have a nice weapon in Terry McLaurin, and they have a really nice running back that can catch out of the back. Two very nice running backs that can
Lance
catch out of the
Thomas is good
backfield.
too. The tight end's really good. Lance Thomas.
Yeah, very
Stephen
good.
Garrett.
They got a nice
quarterback.
O-line. Yeah, I mean, with Mariota running quarterback, that could take some pressure off of McLaurin, Gibson.
That defense
That could be
scary, too.
interesting.
That defense, wild.
That's very interesting. Yeah, because that defense, if they spend some money this offseason, get another wide receiver out there, get some more playmakers, man, that could be an interesting. But again,
I think they're quarterback away though.
Yeah.
They're quarterback away.
Oh yeah. All right, so let's dive right into the Sunday 1:00 games, and we got the team that took down the almighty Pittsburgh Steelers last week, the Cincinnati Bengals, going on the road to play the Houston Texans. Fred, who are you taking in this one?
I'm going to go Houston on this one. I think I've picked Houston all year, but Deshaun Watson's too good, too much to handle for that Bengals defense. Bengals defense looked good against Pittsburgh, but Deshaun Watson's a different beast than Ben Roethlisberger. So, I got Houston. I don't think it'll be a blowout. Maybe Houston by 10, something like that.
Yeah, I'm also going to take the Texans. I mean, great win by the Bengals last week again. It's always nice, even in a losing season, to beat a division rival, especially to the one of the extreme of the Steelers that has constantly had our number, constantly beaten us. So it's nice, for Ryan Finley somehow to lead us to that win. But again, I think Brandon Allen returns under center this week. Ryan Finley's not a good quarterback. I don't care what anybody says. No. He's not a good quarterback. Last week was –
I think the Steelers beat themselves more than the Bengals beat them. I think you would agree with that.
Yeah, and I think at the same – like the Bengals brought a lot of energy. I've told Fred knows that this was the first game in 3 weeks I had watching because I just got so tired of watching a team that looked like they didn't care. Kind of like the Lions looked today where they just looked so disinterested. But, yeah, it was a different Bengal team out there, but I don't think they can – I think – they got their big win. They kind of saved Zach Taylor's job to an extent. And now they go into next year with, it looks like, a recovering Joe Burrow. Video surfaced that he posted on Twitter where What? Oh, yeah, the tight end. Yeah. Oh, that'd be insane. He made him and CJ Uzomah had a bit of a connection. Imagine him with Kyle Pitts.
I mean, because I think it's going to go – we'll talk about the draft later, but I think it's going to go, wait another episode. But top three, Lawrence. I think Sewell goes to the Jets. I think they stick with Darnold.
Sam Darnold.
I don't think they want.
And you talked about this too. Sam Darnold kind of saved his job. Zach Taylor and Sam Darnold both on the same.
If Sewell goes 2, Cincinnati's there at 3. I think you're crazy not to pick Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, I was talking to one of my buddies in this year's draft. Again, we will have an episode where we talk about the draft, but it's like Lawrence and then Fields is like down here. Yeah. So like there's a gap between 1 and the number 2 quarterback. I would argue even Mac Jones, if I was in a spot, I might take Mac Jones over Justin Fields, but obviously Justin Fields offers that running ability.
Is he set in stone not coming back to Ohio State? Did he already declare?
Justin, I don't think he has declared. But
if they lose in the first round of these college football playoffs, I wouldn't put it in the stone that he's not coming back. Yeah. I'm just saying.
I mean, and it's a weaker quarterback class next year probably, unless, someone he surfaces like Joe Burrow, Mac Jones.
Now, I want him to go because I think Carolina picks him, and I'd love to see him in Carolina get another Cam Newton-esque, not as big as Cam, but kind of same play style. So.
And giving a guy like Matt Rule, a gadget guy like Justin Fields already with the amount of fun they can have on that offense. But, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Draft night will be a lot of fun. I can't wait. I can't wait. As a Bengal fan, it's like my holiday. It's how I used to feel about the Lakers on lottery.
And we usually just drive the secondary guy that ends up being out of the league in 4 years.
Yeah.
After the first round, the second through 7th round is when we make our money. So
I gotcha. But we're going to transition into the Browns on the road playing against the hot New York Jets.
Yeah.
Who you got in this one, Fred?
Browns by a lot.
You got the Browns, yeah.
Enough said.
I mean, as much fun as Darnold had last week against a stout defense in the Los Angeles Rams, it seems like the Rams do not play well against bad people. They don't. I don't know what happens to Jared Goff. He just doesn't like playing against bad teams. But that's very interesting. I'm also going to take the Browns. I just think that the Browns are way too much. Nick Chubb might have a 3-touchdown game.
Baker Mayfield's playing really well, so.
Baker Mayfield has looked really good. He's probably earned himself a little bit of stew. If the Browns don't pay him, which I think they will, but if the Browns don't pay him,
I don't see him not paying him.
Yeah, there's no reason not to. Yeah, no reason not to.
He's funny. He's a good personality. I mean, I
his
like him for some reason. I hate
his commercials. His commercials are pretty good.
He just looks like a fun, guy. I think he's matured a lot since college. Ever since
Dude, I will tell you one
grabbing
thing.
of the-
I did not like him at college. I'm a TCU fan.
No, he was a
and
hothead, man.
Dude,
He
he
just
was
was, but he matured a
annoying.
ton, and that's showing on the football field. They're 10-4. I don't think anybody would think the Browns would be 10-4 in this decade. So
match made in heaven. Him and Kevin Stefanski. Yeah. Beautiful.
I agree. Kevin Stefanski should win Coach of the Year. I think.
Yeah, that's a good call. That's a real good call. I don't know who else you'd go, but again, we will have probably next week. We'll make our award prediction.
Ron Rivera.
Whatever.
They win the division. I don't know. Yeah, I like Ron Rivera, especially with what he's been through this year. So.
Yeah. All right. So this game's a little interesting, but it could be a blowout. We got the Giants on the road playing the Baltimore Ravens. Who are you taking in this one? Daniel Jones was named the starter. A little nugget there. He seems healthy, and they deemed him good to go.
He's their franchise guy, I think, Daniel Jones. Don't think this year he gets it done, obviously, but I think they got weapons to work. Build around. He got Slayton and Sterling Shepard, who are decent. Evan Ingram's good, but Baltimore's too much for them this week. Baltimore wins that game, clinches their playoff spot, I do believe, if they win and Vegas loses. I'm pretty sure. So I think 3 teams from the AFC North get in this week, and
yeah, the Baltimore Ravens have been a lot of fun to watch. If Lamar, in my opinion, if Lamar had good enough weapons on the outside, like we have seen Lamar even in his MVP year, his best wide receiver last year was a rookie. His best wide receiver right now is a tight end, and it's Mark Andrews. And once this team, hopefully they signed Des Bryant, who I love Des Bryant. I think he's a great guy, and I'm happy for him that he's got another chance.
He's old.
He's not a number one. Willie Snead's not a number one. Hollywood Brown's not a number one. They don't even have a number one receiver. And
this is the draft
Lamar's already.
Do it. I'll tell you that.
I know if they get more weapons, this team could be so dangerous.
Listen to one name in the offseason that goes to Baltimore. That's Kenny Galladay. We just talked about him. Watch him.
That would be fun. That would be fun.
I'd hate
they
that
would be. In my opinion, I would take them and the Chiefs head and shoulders above everybody else. I
agree.
The Ravens are weapons away because they got the running back figured out with J.K. Dobbins and Gus, and Lamar's one of the best running backs in the league, and he's a good enough thrower to get weapons to the ball. And if you put Hollywood Brown, in a spot where he can hit a streak or two every game, and you're not relying 5, 6, 7 receptions for him, he probably looks
this tight end, man. I mean, Mark Andrews is the 4th best tight end in the league, in my opinion, behind Kittle. Yeah. Kelsey, Kittle, Waller, and I love Darren Waller. I think the tight ends become such a weapon. That's why I'm saying you only need to draft Kyle Pitts. I mean, that's
and tight ends are best friends to quarterbacks. Like I feel like
best friends with receivers too, because it takes the attention away from them, and it gets that outside open, especially with fast guys. That's why I'm surprised Marquise Brown hasn't had a more productive year.
Yeah, it's an interesting. I would if that offensive tackle from Oregon is off the board, you take Kyle Pitts. He's the best player on the board.
He's a franchise tackle. So I mean, if he's there at 3, I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't take him.
Take him. Then you got the edges solidified in him and Jonah Williams. If those two stay healthy, we have the offensive tackles for 10 to 15 years that we've been searching
protect
for.
The franchise guy, man. That's why Ben's been. Yeah. I mean, Ben has been good for so long, and these guys like Brady and Breeze, these guys don't get hit a lot. And
yeah,
I mean,
Peyton Manning
Philip Rivers
sat in the pocket.
Philip Rivers 10-4 this year, and last year where he's with the Chargers, he got sacked all the time. This year, I think he's been sacked 13 times. Where Wentz has been sacked 50. I saw that stat. Wentz has been sacked 50, and Philip Rivers like 14 times. I'm like, man, that's how you win ball games. Is to get off the line.
And that's how you lose your job. You get hit. You try overdoing things. You try making extra reads. You try getting it out quick, and then Carson Wentz loses his job.
Problems too. Yeah, that's part of Wentz's problem. They have it all in his head. I mean, it's just I would take We'll do a whole mock draft, I'm sure, when the time around.
Yeah. All right, so let's transition into the Chicago Bears, in my opinion, one of the most fun teams to watch right now in the NFL.
I think another guy saved his job.
I know. On the road to play up against the Mike Glennon-led Jaguars.
They're tanking. Oh, Lord, they're tanking.
Without James Robinson. James Robinson has been held out.
Yeah.
Whether it's a little strategy by them, like, hey, don't get hurt. We need you next year whenever we got Lawrence and we're able to move the ball a little bit. They're not trying to win. Mike Glennon is an awful quarterback. He's just bad. I'm taking the Bears. I don't even want to talk about it, really. Mitch Trubisky's my guy. I'm taking the Bears.
Yep.
You're also taking the Bears. We have gone together on
Absolutely.
every game this week. So,
The Biscuit's good. I like him, man. I think he's definitely shown he can be a quarterback in this league. So
yeah,
I don't know if it'll be with
Mitch
Chicago,
Trubisky.
but you never know. We'll see.
And Allen Robinson has a free agent coming up. He's another interesting name. If the Ravens have enough money,
Look for him in
kind of make a
Baltimore,
play
yeah.
on A-Rob. I mean, A-Rob, man, I'll sing his praises till the day comes where he hangs him up. But that dude, he's so underrated because of the lackluster quarterback play he's had to deal with his whole career. And it's a shame, but hopefully he'll take it.
Team, man. Another guy that was on Jacksonville. I mean, they've lost Ramsey, him, Blaise Campbell, guys like that. I mean, that's imploded.
Yep.
But they get the franchise guy this year.
Oh yeah, they're going to end up with Lawrence and DJ Shark's going to be able to come back, and Laviska Shenault, he's a nice little. Really good. Yeah, and then they got James Robinson. Then they start adding some more weapons. Chris Conley's not bad, and then they add
the best pass rusher in the NFL. I mean, Josh Allen.
So yeah, they just got to spend money on the defense, spend money on a wide receiver, and then everything else fall into place with Trevor Lawrence.
It's not a terrible team to go to. People are acting like Trevor Lawrence is going to die. I'm like, first of all, he's going to make more money because there's no taxes in Florida. He's going to make a check when he signs, which is not – but, I mean, he's not a terrible – I'd rather go there than New York.
Yeah, I was about to say, in my opinion, they have more weapons. The Jets don't have a running back. The Jets have one wide receiver. I mean, I like Denzel Mims a little bit, but, I mean, Jameson Crowder's okay. But I would much rather go to a DJ Shark, Laviska Shenault, Chris Conley, James Robinson.
Why not?
Yeah. So we're both going the Bears there.
Absolutely.
And the Super Bowl favorites, the Chiefs on the road to play up against the Falcons. If they get a win this week, they solidify the number 1 seed in a first-round bye, which is huge in my opinion in this type of season. I'm taking the Chiefs. Don't have much to talk about here. I think they're going to throw the ball all over the place. No Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but Lev Bell will take the I don't think it matters much. Patty Mahomes will have his way.
Chiefs by a lot. I think they get up big, kind of like what Tampa Bay did today. Get that halftime lead, pull Mahomes, and ride the rest of the season.
And then do it again. Do it again next week. Play
don't
Patty.
Even start him next week. No,
don't even play him like a quarter or two. I'd play him a quarter or two. Wait, is next week's the last week of the NFL, isn't it? I'm not sure.
Yeah, they play the Chargers. Because if they win, they get that 1 seed. There's no reason to play.
Yeah, there's no reason. I forgot it was the last week next week. Yeah. This NFL season is flying by. But here is an interesting game. One of the 1 o'clock games I have a star next to because I think it's one of the game of the weeks is the Indianapolis Colts. Is the Indianapolis Colts going on the road to Pittsburgh? I think this is very interesting. The Colts have officially ruled out both starting tackles for this game, which can be a problem against the Steelers defense that should at some point play angry and play tough. But I expected that against the Bengals. I expected them to plow the Bengals. But the Colts are another thing. And me and you, the last couple of weeks, whenever we watch, we're like, man, this Colts team is kind of fun. They're kind of exciting. They have a young back in Jonathan Taylor. T.Y. Hilton's look like T.Y. Hilton. And I know you're a big T.Y. fan. Yeah, you're a big T.Y. fan. We've had some conversations because I was a little low on him in the fantasy realm whenever, we were talking about who we're going to draft and all that good stuff. And I was a little low on him. You were high. Now you're starting to look like the smart guy in that one. But, I think this is an interesting game. I really do. I don't know where to go, so I'm going to go to you. Who are you taking in this one and why?
T.Y.
I don't think you're going to pick against your Steelers. But
probably not. But it's gonna be a good game. I think definitely gonna be the game of the week. T.Y. Hilton, Philip Rivers finally settled in. First year as a quarterback with no training camp or offseason, really. So makes sense. I got Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh comes out. They're back at home. I think they're gonna come out, which doesn't really matter this year, but I think they get comfy. I mean, they need a week, man. I wish they would have won last week so they could take a week off next week after this win, but
no weeks off now.
Yeah.
If you lose this one, you are in a pickle.
Yeah.
If I'm Mike Tomlin, if you lose this week, you are bad off. Because if the Ravens win out and the Steelers lose out, the Ravens go up to 2 in the AFC North, right? Because they would both have 5 losses, and the Ravens because then the Steelers would own the head-to-head, wouldn't they?
If we win this week, I'm pretty sure we win the AFC North, right?
I would think so. If you win, but that's what I'm saying. If you lose out,
well, no, because who the Browns lost to? The Ravens, Raiders, Steelers.
That's what I'm saying. They would all be.
If we won because our division record is better than theirs.
Yeah.
Regardless, win this week and rest next week. I don't even care if it's the Browns. Let them pound us by 50 for all I care. Take a week off, please. Ask if we cannot even show up to the field. Don't even show up for all I care.
Yeah.
But no, I think Steelers win by a field goal.
I think this is going to be a fun game, and I will be tuned into Red Zone because I'm going for back-to-back in the Coomer League Family Championship. You know what I'm saying? But
I got bounced there.
This one is so interesting to me. I'm gonna go Colts because I want to be a little different from you.
Sure.
I don't know who's gonna win this one.
I think it's a toss-up.
Yeah, I seriously don't know who to pick. Like I was thinking like Steelers because the same reasons I picked them, the last 3 weeks. But I don't see Big Ben. I don't know where he goes from here. He's tired. He needs a break.
So
and Juju is being a kind of like a distraction. Everybody's asking about these TikToks, and they're taking time. Go ahead.
I love Juju Smith-Schuster with all my heart. He's been one of my favorite Steelers for the last 3-4 years. I was on the train of let this kid have fun. You can have all the fun when you want when you're producing on the field.
He's not producing.
You ain't producing.
He has produced more TikTok videos, like 96, than his most like receiving yards in a game this year, which is 93. It's unbelievable. Like this dude, it's all fun in games. Like whenever you're having fun, having a good time, Juju's cool and all. But now you're giving that extra juice to the teams. And I understand these guys are grown men, blah, blah, blah. And, they're professional athletes. But if you are sitting there dancing on opposing teams' logos, that – like these guys hold a sense of pride. I don't think he means
disrespect by it.
I don't think he does either. I think he's having fun. But these guys see it in a different lens. They don't care if he's having fun or not. They're like, wow, he's dancing on our logo. That's our team. We have dedicated our lives to this franchise. And this dude is, seen having fun on our logo. Because it was all cute and fun whenever you're 8-0, you're having a blast, you're 11-0, and you're, doing all that stuff. But then you start stringing together losses and you start playing really bad when you're supposed to be a very solid. It's just, I'm glad you changed stance on that one because I
love him to death. I think he's going to be a great receiver for us in the future. But you can't not hate the guy, but he's getting all this hate. So I'll defend my guy on that, but
Yeah, that is probably the best 1:00 game, potentially the best game of the night or game of the day. But there's some
two really good games coming up.
There are. And now this one's interesting just because there's two bad teams going at it. Drew Lock facing off. It's the Broncos going on the road, play against the Los Angeles Chargers. This will be the first game, I think, we get to see Melvin Gordon be the RB1 because Philip Lindsay was recently put on IR, ending his season. And Melvin Gordon can finally be free. I love Melvin Gordon. I think he's very, very solid. I'm going to take the Broncos just because I love Drew Lock. I love this team, and I'm taking them here.
I'll go Chargers.
You taking? You're going Chargers?
I'll go Chargers.
I don't blame you.
I like Herbert. We got some weapons around him.
This game has everything written all over it where it could be like 28-20, 28-28, 30, like in the 30s, 20. Just two bad teams going at it. Yep. That's the casual bad teams make a good game thing.
And then this is another situation in the Broncos is where I kind of stand.
Yeah, I would kind of agree. On the offensive side of the ball. Man, you know how high I am on the Broncos. Whenever they're fully healthy, man.
Franchise quarterback, but
I mean, I see that. That's a conversation for another day. And the second 4:00 game, we got the Carolina Panthers on the road facing off against the Washington football team. Another weird game with a potential playoff team battling off against the Panthers. Who are you taking here, man?
Football team. I think they're going to try to win this division at 7.
Somebody's got to.
9, 8, and 8, something like that. I think Carolina's playing for draft position. I mean, just fine. Go get your number 4 pick, get your quarterback, and ride your weapons out. Curtis Samuel, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson's emerged this year, so I can see them. Unless they want to stick with Teddy, I mean, we'll see. I wouldn't personally, but especially
I think he'd be a nice guy to learn under, like for like a year for a rookie. I mean, he's a good pro. He always has been. He learned under Drew.
They didn't spend too much money either. They didn't spend that $11 million a year, so it's not terrible. You're not shooting yourself in the foot there.
I'm also going to go football team. I want to pick the Panthers really bad,
just because team, man.
I really like Teddy Bridgewater too. I think he's a great pro. He's gone through a lot. And, just to see him, have some sort of success would be nice. And but anyway, like you said, It's a playoff team versus a lottery, top 10 pick kind of team. So this is another one right here. The division's on the line. You got the Los Angeles Rams facing off against the Seattle Seahawks. This could be, a potential big-time playoff game matchup here.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of fun with this one. Who you taking, man?
I'm going to go Rams this game. I think they bounce back and get themselves a W. Not a fan of Jared Goff yet, but we'll see. I think their defense gives Russell Wilson a lot of problems. I think Jalen Ramsey locked up DK last time. I think that happened again.
He did. He had like 2 receptions for 35 yards or something last time they played.
I think he replicates that again this week, and they get a win. Big
Jalen Ramsey.
Gotta get us in.
Jalen Ramsey is so very good. He
shut down. He shuts down everything.
And they did exactly what they needed to do. You look at that division. The Seahawks, they got Tyler Lockett, DK. You look at the Cardinals, they got DeAndre Hopkins. And then the other team, who's the other team? 49ers. They got Deebo Samuel. They got a lot of gadget guys out there that, can just kind of go all over the field. It really fits that division, like having that kind of corner. So it's very smart. Rams there. I'm going to take the Seahawks because my theory is when in doubt, you always take the best quarterback in the game. And right here, I'm going when in doubt. I'm choosing Russell Wilson. I think he gets the job done here. And that could also be the game of the week. There's another one I had to start next to. Again, 1 o'clock game of the week. He did, and I think they bounce back. I think this offense gets on track.
But they also didn't have Chris Carson, so.
Yeah, I think they get it right here.
Yeah, Chris Carson's good. Right. I think Chris Carson getting him back for this game, especially because they didn't have him last time they played, will be a.
And then the last 4 o'clock game here, we got the NFC East showdown of the Philadelphia Eagles facing off on the road to play in Dallas against the America's team, Dallas Cowboys. Yeah.
Jerry World. Yay.
Who you taking here, man?
I'm going to go Philadelphia. I like Jalen Hurts in this one. A lot of fun.
Me too. He's so much fun to
watch. I'm shaking Carson Wentz's hand, say thanks for all you've done, and send him off.
Give us a 5th-round pick for him. He's out the door. Yeah.
I do want to say one thing about Carson Wentz, though. People forget he led that team that Super Bowl year before he got hurt. He was leading that team in the regular season.
He was an MVP.
He also married a Kentucky girl, so he knows what he's doing. So,
and he was a potential MVP candidate. People were saying this kid's going to be special for years, and now he's having one bad year, and everybody is burning down the bridge. It's like, bro, the kid's talented. He's tough. Get him in a new environment. Get him with a new coach. Get him with a guy, a team that really buys into him, and then get him a good O-line too.
That's terrible. I mean, their fan base is crazy. Like, they're just
Philly's
toxic,
just – Philly, yeah.
So
Philly's
toxic.
just toxic. Yeah, Philly's just toxic. It's a toxic sports world.
Absolutely.
And then Sunday night, this is a really good game. You got the Tennessee Titans on the road to Green Bay where they play the Packers. 2 of the best – little spoiler to the prediction. Predictions next week. But
you thought it was about Aaron Rodgers.
You got. Oh, you're talking about King Henry, eh? But you got 2 of the hottest teams in the NFL going head to head. 2 of the hottest offenses. Who you taking, man?
It's gonna snow. It's gonna be 30 degrees and snow is what they're calling for. So
it sounds like a run-heavy game, if I'm thinking correctly.
They can run all they want. They're gonna have to eventually pass the ball.
You're right.
And I'm gonna take Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers. Will they lock up the 1 seed? They win this game?
I think so. I think so
as well.
Did they already?
No.
Or am I tripping? No.
Okay. They lose last week? No, they beat the Panthers last week.
No, they won. They beat the Panthers.
They might have already locked it up. No. Yeah? Is there an NFC team with 3 losses? Or 2 losses?
I don't think so.
Yeah. They lock up if they win because Seattle has 4 losses.
All right. So they lock it up with a win. They're going to get the win. Aaron Rodgers, Sunday Night Football.
Too good.
Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones, the boys. It's a W. I've already went on my rant about the Titans. They're okay. They're not bad.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they're playing against MVP favorite, in my opinion, Aaron Rodgers. As long as he don't lay an egg, he's probably got the MVP trophy.
It's him or Mahomes. So.
Yeah, it's a 2-man race. But I'm going to take the Packers as well. And then Monday Night Football, you got another guy who's trying to sneak his way into the MVP conversation in Josh Allen and the Hot Bills, going on the road to play in New Orleans against a Bill Belichick-led very weak Patriots this year. Who are you taking in this one?
Bills. Cam Newton's awful. Josh Allen's done for 4,000 yards.
And whenever we were talking about potential coach of the year candidate, Sean McDermott, very, very underrated coach. He's done a great job. The things that this organization has done to Josh Allen, how much growth he has had, it's just beautiful. I
would have thought he'd be the best.
I know.
Quarterback in that class. I don't think I would have thought he'd.
I know. I look back at a conversation me and you had like a couple, like a year ago. I don't even know how I got to it, but dude, me and you were like, man, Josh Allen can't lead a team. We were like, who is this kid? But now he's kind of, turned the corner.
Receiver. Look what's happened when you have a number one receiver, man. You get you a star receiver, that changes the game, bro.
It's crazy. It is crazy. So we're both taking the Bills.
Yeah.
This week of football, again, it's pretty. They've got some pretty nice games. The 1 o'clock again has the Steeler Colt game. Yep. 4 o'clock has the Rams Seahawks. Sunday night Packers Titans, and then Monday night I don't think it's going to be much of a game. But Bill Belichick always does good against quarterbacks, but
he ain't got a quarterback. I'll tell you that.
His team's not good. So. Again, so there's our next week. Again, next week we will have the records updated, all that good stuff, and we will have our award predictions on the NFL side. So we'll have to have a little bit more time for the NFL. Any final thoughts on this week, Fred?
Nope. I think you highlighted those 3 games. I think those are the best 3 games of the week. The weekend. I think those should be the 3 games that everybody should probably tune into because playoff expectations are in line.
Oh, yeah. So it is officially official. The Buccaneers have won. So now we are going to transition into the NBA.
No.
And do our weekly special of the 3-question game with Fred. And I really am excited for these ones. And the first question of the day is, can Giannis lead the Bucks to an NBA championship? In his career, does he have what it takes to lead a team to the NBA championship?
To the championship or win the championship?
Lead just to a championship.
To a championship? Yeah, I think they sneak in 1 year.
Really?
Dude, they're just – I don't know. They're good. They're good. I don't think it's him, though. I think Chris Middleton's the best player on that team. Oh, yeah. Hot take? Chris Middleton's the best player on the team?
I think he's the best scorer on the team.
Good.
I don't think he's better than Giannis, but
the East is just not the West. And I think that's just why they get in. They might even get in. We'll see. I think in 5 years, if he doesn't get to the championship,
that'd be a failure. That would be a failure. I don't think he'd stay in Milwaukee if he doesn't get out of the East at least once in this contract. I even think towards the end of the deal, I think he's going to force his way out.
If they don't go to the championship, he's demanding a trade.
I don't blame him. If you see, like, if LeBron, or even if the Clippers, if one of these teams figure out a way to get to the championship, and then you got in the East, you got like the Heat that are still getting better and better, and then you got like the Celtics who are Jason Tatum's only 22 or 23 years old, still getting better and better and better. Like, there's not much, and then the Nets, who knows where they'll be, and because who knows what will be going on, and then you start looking, you're like, man. He could, and then the Mavericks are another team that you kind of have to keep your eye on with a guy like Luka, and I know, get him a second guy, Jesus Pete. But anyway, it starts getting interesting, and then he could force his way out and end up in a team where he's like, okay, now this team has championship pedigree, this team has championship players, championship coaches, like I'm ready to go, and I think that if they don't make it this year, they'll fire Mike Budenholzer. And they will look for another coach. And then if that doesn't work, then Giannis is going to be like, I have nothing left to do here. I'm out. And then they will burn the ship and send out Chris Middleton, send out Giannis, send out Drew, and say, we're starting over. And we will – because that's my hot take for 5 years. Giannis won't be a Buck in 5 years. He will not finish out his contract with the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't see it. I think that they're a very good basketball team. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. Like, for the next question, they're one of the teams. But, I just don't think he has what it takes right now. And I think he needs supporting guys. Chris Middleton's a great supporting guy. But then you look over at the teams you're playing against, and the Nets have KD and Kyrie. Those are 2 top 10 NBA players in the league right now. Chris Middleton, with all due respect, is not a top 10 player in the NBA. But, it's interesting. It's very interesting. That's my hot take of the episode, I guess, is Giannis won't be in Milwaukee in 5 years. But, so you're going, he will sneak in.
I think a lot of people would agree. Yeah, I think he'll sneak in once.
Sneak in.
The next 3 years.
I can see it, but I'm not, I don't feel it. I just think anytime I watch him play, I love watching him play, of course. He's one of the appealing young stars in the league. But there's a reason that whenever the NBA bubble came back, he was on the noon slot. There's a reason. Everybody knows it. No, he's not a prime time guy. He's not that kind of player. I would much rather, if you're asking me honestly, and I'm repping the New Orleans Pelicans, I would rather watch Zion Williamson right now play basketball. I would rather watch, in my opinion, I think he's more appealing than a guy like Giannis.
He's not the best player on his team.
I'm not saying that he is. I'm just saying I would rather watch him.
You'd rather watch that?
I would personally. I would rather. I don't think Giannis is appealing.
That awkward man.
Hey, dude, he's fun to watch. He gets to the cup. He does some.
Dude, Giannis is back-to-back MVP. Am I right? Didn't he win MVP back-to-back years?
He did.
He's good.
He is good. He's good. But we're going to transition. So, again, that was one of the questions. So, another one is, who are the top teams or top 5 teams in the NBA that can stop the Lakers from going back-to-back?
I got one team, Brooklyn Nets. I don't think anybody else can stop them. I can't come up with 5 teams. I'm not going to try.
I was
not going to come up with 5 teams.
I know. I was sitting here
say,
like,
I think this team may beat them. It's not going to happen. If one team from the West be the Clippers, but I don't know.
Yeah, the only team in the West
Brooklyn Nets are the only team.
Yeah, the only team in the West I have written down is the Clippers, and it's just because, like you said,
I could say the Nets and the Clippers. I'm not going to put any other teams there because I don't truly believe anybody else can beat them. I could have just filled that out because you asked for 5, but I'm not going to come up with 5 teams. I truly don't believe because nobody's going to beat them. I don't think.
Yeah, I was thinking I'd go Nets number 2, Clippers number 3. And then throw in the Celtics or the Bucks. But the number one team that can stop the Lakers, in my opinion, is the Lakers. I think if they get in their own way, but I don't see it happening because with a guy like LeBron,
you have LeBron, dude,
and
he's too good.
And they all fit so well together. And it's game number 2, and people can overreact about night 1. This has happened before. We're playing the same song that we played last year whenever the Clippers absolutely, outshowed the Lakers, and everybody's like, "Oh my goodness, see, this is how good the Clippers are." It's different doing it night 1 of an NBA season and doing it night 89 in game 3 of an NBA playoff series. Like, it's all fun and games whenever Paul George can go for 32 and, on night 1 of the NBA season and be like, "Oh, see, I worked out with my MVP trainer all offseason. I'm back." And then go to the playoffs. If they do it in the playoffs, more power to them, and let those two duel it out in the Western Conference Finals. But you got to get there first. You got to earn some respect before you start, acting like this team is better than like the Nuggets, who the Nuggets are struggling right now. But let's not, sell all of our stock out of our 2 games or buy all of our stock on the Clippers again. Even though I do have to say the addition of Serge Ibaka and Nicholas Batum is incredible. It was great additions. I think Montrezl Harrell's better than Serge Ibaka, but he's a better basketball player. But Serge does things that the Clippers needed bad, like rim protection and spacing the floor, because Montrezl was just clogging the lane for Paul George and Kawhi because that's where they want to go. So it was good addition by subtraction there. But I think the Montrezl Harrell to the Lakers just makes the Lakers that much better. And so, yeah, like you said, That question was tough just because, like you said, there's not really 5 teams that can stop them. It's more so who comes out of the East or who meets them in the Western Conference Finals. Because if the Clippers do, that could be fun. That could be interesting. But if it's another one of those teams that, like the Blazers or somebody that just squeaks past the Clippers and if the Clippers fall apart again, then you got one of those 5-6 game series that really doesn't feel close, but the Lakers are just kind of
too good.
Yeah. So that was a good one. And this one is a more personable question. I just wanted to see where you would go here. Right now, who are your top 5 most fun players to watch in the NBA. Again, fun, not, great, not the best. Just who do you click on? Because I know you got the league pass. Who do you click on? What team do you look at and you're like, okay, I want to watch them today?
So I could easily just been like, why Giannis, LeBron's fun to watch. So I went guys who were just kind of just the guys I personally enjoy. So first I got Chris Paul from the Phoenix Suns.
Is he number 1 or number 5?
There's no particular order. Just
okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you want, I can put him in order if you want, but
it's up to you.
Chris Paul, just the way he paces the game, because I think that's a very underrated trait for a point guard. Is pacing. I think he controls the game like no other point guard in the NBA. I think he makes everybody around him better. He's a mid-range specialist that gets it done, and I think he's a winner. I mean, what he did last year to be second team All-NBA and an All-Star on a Thunder team who had no business really being that good.
No, after they made that trade, bro, people were like, they're a lottery team. They're this, they're that. It's like, let's pound it down. And one of mine, I'm just going to throw out one of mine. And it's one that I just recently found because he's a Laker now, and he was all part of that Chris Paul. And I texted you all night last night about this, man. Dennis Schroeder. He is so much fun. Dude, he's unbelievable. I love the little blonde strip in his hair. He plays at such a, fast pace where, of course, him and Anthony Davis are figuring it out. But once they figure it out, that pick and roll, LeBron right now is averaging 26, 27 minutes a game. He didn't play outside under 6 minutes last night. He didn't play in the fourth quarter against the Clippers night 1. He played 28 minutes. They're not going to, kill LeBron. Dennis Schroeder can kind of take the pressure off LeBron in the pick and roll game of Trez, the pick and roll game of AD, the pick and roll game, with anybody you want to throw out there with Dennis Schroeder is just so effective because the way he plays. He goes downhill. He can stop on a dime and pull up. He can hit a contested three. And last year, the Lakers didn't really have that outside of LeBron. They didn't have that. Rondo's cool. Playoff Rondo's cool. Don't get me wrong. I love playoff Rondo. But he wasn't that type of guy that could just overrun you with his speed. He was very smart. He did it with his mind, where he was, very strategic with his body placement. Dennis Schroeder is particular with his body placement, and he's really fast, and he's really good, and he's really young. It's just one of those things that you have to look into here. And so, yeah, I would go Dennis Schroeder here. And who are you going at for?
No particular order, but I don't know. I guess I can put Chris Paul at 5. But 4, I didn't have it in order. But I'll do Karis LeVert. I think he's the third best player on the Nets, and he's so talented off the ball and on the ball.
Yeah.
I think he creates a shot really well for himself. Probably 6th man of the year. I think if he keeps up this production, I think he adds an element to the Nets that they really needed, which is bench scoring, and I think that's super important in the NBA. So, Karis LeVert, just the way he plays, the way he's a winner. So,
yeah, Karis LeVert's a lot of fun. And I would go with one of my top, again, Kevin Durant. I mean, we're not going to look into, all of that, but Kevin Durant is just so much fun to watch. The way he impacts the game. And I know how much you love KD. And I'm sure if he's not on your list, I know that you wanted to put him there, but you were just not.
Yeah, he's not on my
going.
list.
I know you have the.
I'm a huge KD fan, so
he's unbelievable. I
he's
love
the best
him.
scorer in the NBA, and I don't think it's close.
Yeah, Kevin Durant's unbelievable. I think people forgot just how good he was.
He's a freak. So, he's the real freak. Don't be calling my man Giannis the freak. KD's more a freak than him. What he does at 7 foot should not be done. That's not.
No, the way he plays the game is just so much fun to watch.
When you're that big, you should not be able to move like that because every 7-footer usually is super clumsy and. Yeah.
The way he took over the game in the third quarter yesterday on Christmas against the Boston Celtics and just completely put the game out of reach was just so much fun. It was unbelievable. I was like, man, I mean, you were in a party on PlayStation, and we were like, dude, what is Kevin Durant doing right now? This dude is completely taking over this game, and he's just fun to watch. Yeah, dude. He's unbelievable. He truly is, and the way he's recovered from this Achilles injury is incredible. The way I love it. I love it so much.
They have 2 really, really good bigs. I mean, Jordan and Allen are awesome.
I know we're doing teammates right now. Are we in sync or what? And who's another one of your guys, man?
Number 3, I'll go Chris Middleton. I think he's the best scorer on that team, man. He's so good. He's so underappreciated and so undervalued.
He is.
he's there. I mean, him and I like Drew Holiday too. I think he added different elements to that team. But
It's such a good team, man. Like
he's
that Bucks
smooth.
team
Like,
is so good.
him and Karis LeVert are kind of like the same player.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, Chris, he's long, good defender. Like he's good. I like him a lot. I don't really have anything else to say. He's just really fun to watch. I really like the way he scores.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a lot of fun, man. I like Chris Middleton too. I'm gonna go CJ McCollum. I've talked to you about this before, and I like how we kind of went away from the obvious guys, that we just
my next two
love watching. Yeah, but yeah, CJ McCollum. I love watching his ball handling drills and all that. He's just a fun guy to watch. So who you got now?
Number 2, I got De'Aaron Fox. That speed's just
he's the Kentucky boy.
Yeah, I mean that went into it, of course, but his speed, man, was just unreal.
Dude.
I mean, you watch him play. You watch him get just a rebound or just an outlet. I mean, nobody's catching him. It doesn't matter how good of a defender you are. You can't teach that speed. So De'Aaron Fox, his shooting's improving. So I think, that Kings team, man.
He's a part of a Kentucky team. Since I kind of threw that out there, that probably should have won. Probably should have won the Natty that year. They could have. They easily could have. They ran into the eventual champion, and it's just I love De'Aaron as well. Here I'm gonna go Trae Young. I've sang his praises. I literally love watching the kid play. Night 1, he went for like 37, 11, and 4. Like he just played. He plays the game with such an ease and such like
smooth.
He's one of those guys, again, very smooth. And as soon as he crosses half court, he can shoot the ball and it will fall. Like if he's, it's one of those things where from half court, he's about 50%. And from the rest of the field, if he's open, he's going to hit it. Like he's just one of those guys. He makes everything easier for his team. And I'm a big Trae Young guy, man.
He's not Curry, but he's probably the closest thing we'll ever see.
The closest thing we'll ever see. And I think he's going to trout his own path, man. I really like this Hawk team. I like the makeup of them. I really do. I think they're one of those teams, man, that the Bucks need to keep their eye on. They got some dogs, man. You got to keep your eye on the Hawks. But you can go ahead with one of your last ones, brother.
Probably surprise a lot of people. Domantas Sabonis out in Indiana.
Sabone.
I think he's the most underrated big in the game. Player in the league. One of them. I mean, he's an all-star last year. He's a traditional post guy, but he can also step out and hit the jumper. He controls the game. He had a stupid great opening night. He makes an Indiana team go. I mean, I think he's their best player. I think Oladipo is good, but I think Sabonis is their best player. He's just fun. I mean, you throw him the ball, he's getting you a bucket. I like the the rim running, blocking shots, bigs. Kind of like kind of what DeAndre Jordan, those guys are like. But there's something about just throwing a ball down to a big and letting him go get one. So, and he does on a consistent basis, and he shoots a great percentage. He's raw. I mean, he's a smooth lefty.
Oh, dude, he's one of those guys. Yeah, he's one of those guys too that is just like he can rebound, he can run, he can create. He's like a triple-double machine, and fun to watch. So I like
rebounder, phenomenal rebounder down low.
Yeah, and one of mine, I'm also going to go a Kentucky kid that I love watching. I should have wore his jersey. It would have made sense. I'm going to go Shea. I love Shea. I feel so bad for him that he's, going to be stuck on this Thunder team that probably won't win north of 10 games.
They are in a great position, though.
Yeah, they're going to have draft capital, and, they're sitting in a spot where a lot of teams like to be. And not only that, but if they're smart about it, they can use picks as well as trade picks.
Yeah.
And then get guys in there with Shea that have fit kind of his mold of young, talented, upcoming guys. And you surround Shea, and then you add him a couple more players, man. Whew. And I love Shea. The way he makes the game so much easier for everybody. Another one of the Thunder players from last year that learned from Chris Paul that, are just so much – that team was a lot of fun to watch with the 3 guards and how Billy Donovan used them. Billy Donovan, very underrated coach as well. I wasn't high on him at all, but the way he did with the Thunder.
Chicago. Oof, that team is
I'm not high on that team, brother. They are bad.
No,
but anyway, But anyway, so I love Shea. He's another one. And again, of course, I'm a Laker fan. I would love to put Bron and AD, but I didn't want to, be like, Bron and AD.
Bron, AD.
Yeah, Damian Lillard, all the but I'm glad we went that way. I love Shea. I think, in my opinion, he's my number one, man. I would love to, whenever the Thunder play, he's so crafty. And while we're talking about the NBA, man, reviewing night 1, and the Lakers did lose to the Clippers. It was 116 to 109. And then the Nets absolutely thropped the Warriors. What is one takeaway you had? I'm going to catch you off guard here that you had from night one. I mean, you can go about the Warriors. You can go about the Nets. You can do whatever you want here.
One
Caught him off
takeaway
guard. I didn't tell me about this
from
question.
those two games, or just those two games?
Yeah, no, well, you can go for the week. Last week where the Nets went 2-0.
Golden State, I need to switch my standings because I don't think they'll make the playoffs. Don't think the Clippers will beat the Lakers again. Phoenix is really good.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be really good. I think I've looked over how good the Jazz are going to be. Don't think the Nuggets are going to be that strong. I think Jamal Murray and Jokic are going to take a step back. Watch out for the Spurs. Never count them out.
Really?
Yeah, I think they're going to be good. I think Toronto's going to be really bad. Not as good as people think. Orlando's one of the sneaky teams too, man. I know it's night one, but
I'm telling you,
run through Aaron Gordon. Interesting.
They're the play-in game, and right now I have the Raptors at 8 is what my preseason was, and I feel really good about that. I'm not moving that.
Yeah.
But my 9 would be the Wizards, and that play-in game for that 8th spot, if it was the Raptors, the Wizards, dude, that would be so much fun. That would be insane. But I like that, man. I agree with you. I don't think the Raptors or anything. And a takeaway I had from the Clipper game, Paul George looks healthy. Last year, I'm not making any excuses for him at all. But you could tell there's some sort of
he'll make his own excuses, so you don't have to yourself.
Oh yeah, he'll tell you if yeah. And if they don't win this year, I'm sure his shoulder's still bothering him, even though he says he feels great. But he looks better. He looks more comfortable. And again, I love the additions of Nicholas Batum and Serge. And then the Lakers are going to take it easy this year. Again, LeBron hasn't played over 30 minutes yet. I don't expect him to. I expect Anthony Davis. They have a back-to-back coming up. I expect either one to take off one game and the next one to take off the other, or them both to sit out on one particular game. They have so much depth. They're very, very talented. And something that I wanted to highlight was on night one, Paul George and Kawhi both played 35 minutes, and LeBron played 28. Anthony Davis played right at about 29 minutes, 50 seconds. So he was right at 30 minutes. So it's just one of those things, man, whereas, these teams that are trying their best right now to, get their players out there for 35, 30 minutes a game, the Lakers are going to take that easy. I think Anthony Davis will play around 30, 32 a night, but LeBron is going to sit right at 25, 28 minutes.
He's still young, though. He's young.
Yeah.
That's crazy to say. He's been in the league 8 years, and he's considered young.
Yeah. And, dude, the Warriors are god-awful.
They're bad.
I think I have them
Can I switch my
high.
standings, please? I have them at 2.
We'll get into that. But, dude, the Warriors, I think
nobody thought. I mean,
yeah, I had them coming
Wiggins
into the year around the 9th. And Andrew Wiggins averages 12.5 points per game on 10 of 34 shooting right now.
Oubre's worse.
Kelly Oubre hasn't made a field goal outside of dunks. He has only made a field goal on dunk attempts. The kid for getting all the hype he has for the ladies thinking that he is what he is. Dude, he's bad at basketball. He's bad at basketball.
Can't act like Curry's played well either.
Curry has struggled. And something that I saw on Twitter that I thought was interesting was in 2018, whenever people were asking him about how LeBron brought, this group of Matthew Dellavedova, Grant Hill, and these injury-plagued Cavs teams to the finals, Curry was like, man, they're NBA guys, blah, 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 blah. Now he gets the taste of what it's like to play with guys.
Nobody's LeBron. Nobody is LeBron.
No, it shows just how special Bron is. And so, yeah, that's kind of my takeaways from night one as well as weeks. I think the Hawks are incredible. They're so much fun to watch. They beat up on the Bulls team. And that a lot of people came into the year saying they're going to make a leap. They're going to be solid. And the Hawks just kind of said, okay.
I got to see them.
I agree. I think the Bulls are terrible defensively. They will be one of the worst defensive teams in the league, and it won't be close.
Patrick Williams looked pretty good, though.
Isaac Okoro looked really good for the Cavs as well. That's a rookie that I was like, wow, he looks a lot better than I thought he was going to.
Dude, they might not be terrible. Yeah, how good did Larry Nance look? Triple-double alert, almost. 2 assists away from a triple-double. And they get Kevin Love back.
So, yeah, as we sit right now, and obviously we're 2 games into the year, so nobody looks too much into these. The Nets are the 1 seed, the Magic, the Hawks, the Pacers, the Cavs, the Sixers are all 1-0, so they fill out the 2 through 6, and then the Celtics and the Heat at 7 and 8. The Bucks right outside at 1-1. So, again, as you said, or as we've said, it's just a weekend, nothing to look into. But the Western Conference as well, we got the Clippers at 2-0 as the 1 seed. The 2 through 6 teams are all 1-0, and those are the Jazz, Spurs, Timberwolves, Suns, Kings. And then at 7, you have the 1-1 Pelicans, and of course at 8 you have the 1-1 Lakers. So, we're a week in, so nothing to really start being like, oh wow, this team making the playoffs. The Cavs are 1-0. Oh my god, but just something to look at right now as we continue to go on. So for this week, we thought it'd be cool to do a matchup of the week every week in the NBA. And so we have picked our best game of the week, and that is the Milwaukee Bucks facing off against the Miami Heat. That is going to be played on Tuesday, December 29th, and it's at 7:30 p.m. on TNT. So that is the game of the week that we have picked. And again, it's one of those games that could be an Eastern Conference Finals preview. And what do you think about that game, Fred?
I'm not too high in the Heat.
Really?
Not too high.
So who are you going in this game?
I'm gonna go Bucks.
You're gonna go
I think
Bucks?
Bam Adebayo he gives a lot of trouble to Giannis, but I was just like watching the Heat. I'm like, they didn't get better. They just didn't get better at all.
I'm kind of on the other side. I think they did. I think Precious, dude. At the end of the day, I think Precious Achiuwa was one of the sneaky. And we did an NBA draft. I wish we had the podcast because he was one of those guys I said was a first round sleeper. And Precious Achiuwa, and for him to get picked by the Miami Heat, he's one of those guys that can just guard at the 4, and then you have Bam at the 5. You can switch everything. And, that's kind of where I sit, where they're so good offensively. Duncan Robinson has earned himself so much money. And I love Duncan. I think he's a great, great shooter. And Tyler Hero's Tyler Hero. You get what you get with him. But I really like the Heat. I'm taking the Heat, man. I like that we're going.
Tyler's got to be better.
Tyler does have to be better. He has not played very well, but I'm going to take the Miami Heat. So there's that, man. And that's our NBA segment. We have decided not to talk about the Kentucky Wildcats this week.
No, thank you.
They just lost to the Louisville Cardinals.
Heartbreaker.
A heartbreaking game. And again, they're showing more fight, but at the end of the day, if you don't get W's, it doesn't really matter what you're showing.
No offense at all.
They don't have a point guard, and I love Devin Askew. I think he has a bright future for Kentucky, but maybe not this year. But who knows, man? Who knows what can happen? I still think if they make it to the tournament, they're a sneaky team, but at the same time, you got to get wins, and you have to have a point guard, and you have to have a guy that can go get you a bucket. And right now, Davion Mintz, as well as he's been playing, he can't just get the ball and go give you a bucket. Like you have to draw up something for him to get open, set his feet, make something. Like he can't just attack and do things. So Olivier Sarr has to grow, something and be tough.
He ain't got much time left to grow.
But happy spot that I want to talk about: Lance Ware, Jacob Toppin, playing incredible, showing their potential, really fighting hard. Same with Devin Askew. Those guys deserve more minutes. Sit down Olivier Sarr until he starts playing. If you're going to get mad at, Cameron for saying he can contribute, you got to get mad at the guys that you're giving 30 minutes to that aren't contributing. You got guys sitting on the bench that there's no reason that we shouldn't be trying new things because it's not like we're winning. Like, go ahead, empty your bench a little bit, see who can produce. Give Dante Allen a shot. Give Cameron a shot. Like, give these kids a shot, man, and see what happens. We're not making shots. Get Dante out there. He can shoot a little bit. He averaged darn near 50 points a game in high school. Like, give him a draw up a play or two, or just sit him in a corner. I get he can't really guard, and he's not, a Kentucky level player, but give him a shot. What do we have to lose, right? And that's kind of where I am. Do you have any final thoughts, any closing thoughts here? If not, you can close us out, Fred.
I think we're good. Be a fun week of sports. I'm glad the NBA's back. So
NBA's back, man. That's exciting.
Alrighty. Well, happy holidays for everyone out there. Have a happy new year. Hopefully 2021 Bring this more
Hopefully
health
it's better
and-
than 2020,
Yeah.
man.
No kidding. So thank you all for tuning in to the X Factor Sports Podcast. As always, don't be a star. Just be a superstar. Be an X Factor. Change the game.
Yes, sir.
Troy, as always, appreciate you, brother. We'll see
See
you
you,
guys
my
next
guy.
week. God bless and peace out.
Peace out.